Hi, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA. Today with professional MMA fighter from Australia, Michael Stanoff from Lions Den Academy. How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. You kind of came on my radar with your recent fight in July 9th against Ryan Mortimer. He was from Base Training Center.
Yep.
It was a good scrap, bro. How do you feel about that fight?
I feel good. It was actually one of the first times I've actually um, felt it like excited to before walking out. Like usually I'm usually excited, but I'm always got that nervous, like anxiety energy. But I don't know. I think just those back-to-back training camps with Volk you know, just lifted my mental game a little bit. And yeah, man, he's a tough guy, but I'm not gonna lie to you, he could take a few shots. But yeah, no, it was a great show to fight on too. Beat down, it was a good promotion.
Yeah, man, he looked tough and he looked pretty well versed in everywhere it was, like from standing to wrestling to ground, man. He looked like he wasn't a bum, man. So it was a good win.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, look, we knew that going in. Like I said, speaking with my coach about it with Luke, we knew he was a veteran. Like I know he's been out of the game for a while, but he's a veteran. Like he's been around for a while. Like he's one of those OG guys. So and plus he's training down at with Damien Brown and those guys, and that's a tough gym. Like what he's got out of there. So we knew like he wasn't going to be a walkover. So yeah, wanted to just go in there and really make a statement, I guess, because obviously I'm still a bit eaten up about my pro debut. So I just really wanted to make a statement and show people that yeah, I'm not all hype kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Well, you threw down a bit. It's good to watch. Can you
Yeah,
talk a little bit about you mentioned about training with Volk. So you've been down at Freestyle MMA helping out there, and how's that been?
yeah. Amazing, man. Really leveled me up by far. Just the whole culture they got down there. They even when you're down there and you're in like say Volk's training camp, like it's the attention's on all the fighters. You know what I mean? So everyone's treated like equally, and I guess everyone gets flogged in the trenches just like Alex does. And yeah, the training was intense, but it's really leveled me up. You're surrounded by guys like the first time I was down there, hey guys like Trent Girdham. um the second time I was down there, surrounded with guys like Jamie Malarkey. I had that David Martinez who's fighting for the eternal lightweight title soon. I had training partners like Colby Thickness and Lockjaw, Justin Lockjaw Van Heeden. And yeah, man, they the bodies down there was just crazy. So it just leveled me up by far. And yeah, just like I said, going into that fight against Ryan, really just had that confidence base. Walking in there, I just felt like I couldn't lose that night. Just by doing those back-to-back camps and seeing what they go through and seeing what they do, and yeah, that really benefited me a lot.
Man, it's good being from Australia, which isn't the biggest country, man. It's great that a few of you guys are getting together and working. I mean, there's been quite a few guys working out of freestyle MMA and obviously benefiting for it. Now everyone wins, right? When you're all ships are rising, man.
Well, that's the thing. You know what? Like I've said this to a few people. Here in Australia, like okay, we're gonna fight each other. On the local scene, on all these local shows, we're gonna probably match up against each other. But going on and taking on the world, eventually we're gonna start training with each other. You know what I mean? Like Jamie's fought Alex back in the day, and now they're training partners. There's just I think it's a really good culture we're building here, especially here in Australia. Being a country where we're not really now we're starting to get recognised that the fighters coming through. But yeah, you're right. It is a good thing that we're all coming together and training and helping out together. Getting on that international scene, I guess, and yeah, elevating from there. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, man. It's all moving so fast too, man. Like I'm actually
Yeah,
from the same area as Jamie, and when I was competing in kickboxing and that, there was only a couple of kickboxing gyms. Now you go around, there's a few MMA gyms, BJJ gyms, everything up there, man, and fighting at the
yeah.
world level. So it's pretty cool, eh?
Well, yeah, you know what? I remember when I was a kid, when I first started MMA, I think I was 13. Um, And right through my teen years, like everybody thought, when you're doing martial arts or kickboxing, MMA, everybody's playing footy or soccer or sports like that, and everybody thinks you're like, a bit of a not like a weirdo, but everyone thinks you're different because you're in combat sports. Now it's like everybody drops everything when the UFC's on, or like now I see guys that I used to go to school with that were like soccer players or footy players. Now they're doing BJJ. Now they're starting kickboxing, or they're getting into some sort of combat sport. And people that I haven't seen in years are now hitting me up to come watch fights. So it definitely brings people together as well, and brings a lot of I guess like I said, haven't seen people for ages, and now they're coming out of the woodworks. I guess watch you compete, or in any of those cases. So yeah, like definitely combat sports. It's good to see it rise. To be honest with you, it's really relieving to see that. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like in the past, like popular culture, like Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris and all these guys kind of popularized stand-up martial arts and stuff, and a bit of the kickboxing as well. And then it's had a resurgence with this the way UFC markets itself and everything, plus of course a couple of other organizations as well, but particularly UFC. Everyone knows UFC, and yeah, now every man his dog knows what BJJ is, knows what a rear naked choke is, knows what ground fighting versus stand-up. It's kind of crazy the way it's moved.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was like, especially when MMA first came about. Like, obviously, being in a cage, like people think you're an animal. Fighting a cage, like everyone's like, it's just barbaric, it's brutal. But now, like people who would never watch a fight in their life, now I know people that never liked anything to do with combat sports. Like you said, now UFC pay-per-view events on, like, oh, I gotta go watch the UFC. You know what I mean? Like it's family barbecues are together now, so it's like a Sunday footy now. You know what I mean? When the UFC's on. So it's mad. It's mad to see that. It's good.
Exactly, man. So talking about that, man, like what was the first thing that got you involved in any sort of combat sports, and when was it?
To be honest with you, it's a funny story. When I was a kid, when I was a kid, my uncle got me and my cousin into WWE, the wrestling. Yeah, that's how it started. So we would just wrestle in the backyard, and he had a trampoline. Never forget it. We always have like wrestling matches on the trampoline. And just like you said before, the Bruce Lee, my uncle was he was a big Bruce Lee fan. And he used to, me and my cousin would watch all the old Bruce Lee movies, as well as the wrestling. And then from there, we went to Lions Den. That was my first gym I ever walked into, just wanting to learn martial arts. And I started off with jiu-jitsu. And I originally did it just to was just because I was playing rugby league at the time as a kid as well. So I was doing it just in the off season, doing jiu-jitsu and then doing rugby league in the winter. And then from there just progressed into, started doing some stand-up, and then just evolved into MMA. Started getting more and more involved into the UFC. Started getting more into it, and then just decided to have a fight, see what it was like, and now here we are.
That's it, man. Actually, quite a lot of guys from Australia have started off with footy, right? And then it's just been an off-season thing. And then through injury or other things, they've started taking it on more. And a lot of people also talk about the difference between, like, you have a team sport versus an individual sport, how, the whole team can carry. You're not really the man in the ring and that, right? And then when you're doing the any combat sport, you're the individual there. There's no hiding, no hiding behind your teammates. Your teammates can't drag you down. You're the one in the middle, and there's no questioning your performance, right? Really.
100%. And I tell this to a lot of people. Fighting is a cruel sport. It's very, very cruel. I think it's the most cruelest sport in all sports. It's like you said, if you have an off day on the footy field or the soccer field, you got 12, 13 other players around you. That's it's all them. You know what I mean? You have an off night in the cage or in the ring, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like, no one else sees it. No one else sees what you go through. Like, and you could be on like a 10-fight winning streak, and the moment you have an off night, that's what they look at you as, you lost. You know what I mean? That's the harsh reality of fighting. But again, I sometimes look at fighting as a team sport as well. Like, okay, you are in the cage individually yourself, but it's not possible without, obviously, your head coaches, your training partners, your physios, your dietitians. They're all a team that obviously make you who you are. You know what I mean? As well, like, they're the ones that help you perform. If you don't have the good people around you to, lead you in those right directions, obviously it shows on fight night. So I think in a way, fighting is a team sport. Again, you are competing individually on the night, but yeah, it's definitely, like I said, definitely it's one of the most rewarding sports, but it can be very, very cruel at the same time as well.
Yeah, that's true, man. Like, yeah, it's an interesting point. It is a team sport, man. I mean, there's so many people involved in your progression, especially in your learning, because you can't learn alone, right? You have to be working with people to progress. And yeah, and you get there's a bond that's probably not that different to something like a football team or something, right? Except that you're not actually competing together at the end. You train together every day, and then you do develop big bonds. Especially something for me, something weird about the jiu-jitsu and wrestling and that, bro. There's some sort of bond you get with people in that sort of art, like training those arts. I know what it is. I can't explain it, but you definitely get some sort of connection with the people you train with every day in these things.
100%. No, 100%. Because you know what it is? Like, you see these guys going through the same thing you're going through. You know what I mean? Like, you see these guys getting, like, yourself, you're getting, like, absolutely battered and smashed in training, week, like, day in, day out, 2 times a day. And, you're seeing what, like, your other guys are going through. Like, you're going through the same thing because you both want the same goal with your teammates. You want the same goal. And, even though it is like a contact sport, it's all about like learning and helping each other as well. There's you got to forget your ego. Ego goes out the window. And, it does create a special bond. Like I said, for example, going down there with training with Volk, the second camp I did when Volk was leading up to Max Holloway, just seeing what they were doing from the first camp, all the spiders, all the meat grinders they were doing, and then them putting me through that and me going through that, and them, obviously they're pushing you and they're on top of you, but they're also helping you at the same time, and it does create a bond. You know what I mean? Like, and then very thankful for that as well. So it does it creates a special bond, yeah, for sure, 100%.
And I was talking to Justin Van Heiden, and also I know Colby a bit, and it's interesting too because you guys are grinding, and it's all a real serious business, basically practicing to kill each other every day. But then there's a lot of banter and joking around and stuff that goes with it, right?
Oh, 100%. Me and Colby, we have like a song request every time we go into training all the time. Who's got the better tracks? We always send each other the best tracks and the songs and stuff like that. Me and Justin are always sending each other funny shit on TikTok and Instagram, so you can have a bit of a laugh and a joke. So it just gets your mind off it a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. Because like you said, you're always serious and you're always like in that, I guess, fighting mentality all the time. You got to lighten up the mood a little bit. So you got to have a bit of a laugh and a joke. But yeah.
Justin was also saying that he gets hammered so much by Joe Lopez that he just nothing anyone else says is going to hurt him in the future. With other people giving you shit from other gyms or other fighters and that, like who gives a shit,
Mate, I'm telling you, every time, like Justin will be talking before training, and then as soon as Joe walks in, you just hammering him straight away. Like, doesn't even get to open his mouth, and Joe Lopez is on him straight away. And it's like you're waiting for it. You're just waiting for it. So. Thankfully Joe likes me. Like, touch wood, I haven't done anything wrong in that gym yet, so I'm in his good books. But yeah,
that's it, bro. Hey man,
yeah.
So just wanted to ask some questions. Like you're just entering the pro ranks. It's your second fight. Obviously, upward trajectory. Weren't happy with your first onto the second. Are you full time pro, bro? Do you do other work and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I started off. When I first started in MMA, I was a carpenter. But as you know, with construction and training, it just got too hard if I wanted to take this seriously and into the pro ranks. So what I did was, when I got signed off, I had a family friend who owns a security business. And he just basically said, he goes, yeah, man, if you want to take this more seriously and you want to up your training, jump on board with me. And so I got my security license, and now I just do a bit of weekend work in security, and then like during the week, I have a little bit of private clients who'll be a PT during the week, just to make myself enough to live. And as I said before, when I was a carpenter, I used to train in the morning, go to work as a chippy, and then train in the afternoon, and then I was just I was wrecked, man. It was too much. So I had to make some changes. That's why I got into the security business. And yeah, it's just flexible hours. That way I can train twice a day, 3 times a day. I can get my rest in. I can get, my recovery in. My meals are good. And yeah, it's a lot more fitted to my lifestyle than obviously being in the construction life.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to back a both up. I was talking to Paul Loga a couple of weeks ago, and he's doing concreting, I believe, in the construction industry. So same sort of thing. It's a hard slog to do both. But yeah, what you mentioned, the security kind of matches in. It's a funny thing because I started security when I'm training, man. So I'm training, and my cousin's like, "Well, we're training. We might as well just do security as well." It's like you might get to test it out a bit and everything. So you end up doing a job where you potentially get to actually use the skill that you're learning. Of course, nowadays you got to be careful, and there's certain guidelines and that. But in a way, you get to actually use the skills you've learned, depending on where you're actually working in the security industry. But I'm still in the security industry. I went the other direction, away from fighting and towards fucking security. Yeah, it's funny they match together.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's funny enough that when I was down training with Volk, Joe Lopez has a security business as well. So he was even saying to me, guys, Mike, if you ever want some security work, just make some cash on the weekends, you guys just let me know. So I'm like, fucking, how good's this, man? It's work opportunities galore. So, but usually when I'm working in Sydney, because I'll usually work in the Sydney CBD or the eastern suburbs. If I'm on the door, something, people see my ears, they go, yeah, they know this bloke's not fucking around. So they go, yeah. But
I saw something the other day with, I think it was Russian or something, the guy with a hammer hammering the ears just to try and get that look. So funny, eh? Idiots.
Oh, well, yeah.
So where are you from now, bro? Like where you're at? You train working in the city and you're training at Lions Den often at Kingsgrove, right? Where were you actually living in that area?
So I live around the Kingsgrove area. Pretty much born and raised in Sydney's southern suburbs.
Yeah.
So I've lived around here my whole life. But yeah, I played footy a lot in the eastern suburbs, like around the Coogee and Maroubra area, growing up. But yeah, always trained at Lions Den in Kingsgrove. Are you familiar with Sydney at all?
Yeah, I'm from Sydney actually, bro. Yeah, I grew
you
up
are? Yeah, okay.
North, but I was born in Sydney, worked in Sydney.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I've pretty much grown up my whole life in around that Kingsgrove Elwood area. And yeah, always fought out at Lions Den, haven't trained anywhere else. My mum's from Queensland. She's from up north. So she moved down here, obviously when she was younger. But yeah, pretty much born and raised. All my mum's side of the family is all from up Queensland. And my dad's side of the family, they're all from Wollongong down near Windang as well. So where Alex and the boys are from. So pretty much grown up my whole life here in Sydney.
That's it, man. And that work that you're doing, man, is that work in clubs and pubs and stuff like that, or what are you doing?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, man. I'm young. I'm 25. The pubs and clubs are not too bad, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like they're, I need, I need a bit of like, I don't know, how do you say it?
Action, man. Bit of action.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't want to be standing there bored shitless. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to have some fun, talk to people and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Oh man, if you're in the right place, it becomes not really like working in a way. Especially if you got the right crew with you, it just becomes a fun night out.
Oh mate, that's how honestly, I'll be honest with you, that's how I treat security. Like I treat it like as a night out, and I'm just like fucking around with my mates and getting paid. So it's it's all right. You get your few incidents here and there, but it's pretty much all fun and games, to be honest with you.
What sort of stuff you have happen there? Just removals and stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much. So we had we've just had a few guys, like obviously just in talks. We had actually one guy. He got denied. Like he actually could not even stand up on his feet, and I never forget it. He's rolled up his sleeves to have a go, and I'm just laughing at him the whole time. And he's taking a swing at one of the guards, and full gone airborne, and knocked himself out on the floor. So he's full out, fast out, cold. And I'm in tears, like in hysterics, just laughing at this guy the whole time.
He did it by himself. He knocked himself out.
He knocked himself out. I'm telling you, he was that smashed. And I was laughing at him because he was that smashed. And he got the shits because we wouldn't let him in. And that's probably one of the funniest things I've seen. If I had it on record, I swear, fuck, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, man. Like it's
So,
really, you do security for a few years, you get endless stories for your life, man. It's so many things happen, man. Like people
oh,
fighting and fighting you and doing stupid things. And
yeah.
that's the sort of fun part about it, is that you do something, then you go with the boys, you see what that guy did, and then I did this and you did that. And it's like, it's quite fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Again,
All the
that's a
time.
mateship thing, bro. You get a lot of good mates just through doing that, you know? So, yeah, it's cool.
Oh, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Like I said, we've had some fun, especially like people intoxicated. Like, man, you can fuck with them so hard. Like, some of the shit you say to them, and it's so funny. Like, one girl asked me, she's like, where are you from? I remember she asked me where I was from, and I told her, I go, have you seen the movie Magic Mike? She goes, what? I go, the movie Magic Mike. You know the movie Magic Mike? She goes, yeah. I go, that's me. She goes, oh, no way. I go, yeah. She goes, what are you doing to security? So it's just a side gig, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just here like on the weekends and that. But that's where I am. Oh my god, she grabbed the mates. She was that fucked up. She's
Yeah.
grabbing her mates. You know, oh, this is
That's me.
Magic Mike.
Yeah. You're over. So you mentioned your family before, being from the same sort of areas and that. Do they have any input in your fighting, bro? Any history of that stuff? Anything that, or they support your training, or it's out of fashion for the family?
My mum is very supportive, but can't come watch the fights, obviously, as mothers are. But my mum's very supportive. My old man, he is supportive. Um, but it's more my mum is she's the main one. She's the main one that you know, really makes sure that everything's on point with, like, obviously my nutrition and my training, my recovery. Um, the family are very, very supportive. They come to all the fights that are in Sydney. The last fight when I was in Brisbane, had a few family members come down to that one, the one on Beatdown. So as we were saying before, with combat sports, how it brings people together. Like, there's a lot of family members that I haven't seen in a while that are now seeing me fight and coming to the fights and wanting to, I guess, be involved in the journey. So that's also another positive thing as well. And obviously my father's side, being from a Macedonian background, seeing me fight, and they're obviously big supporters of Alex too. Yeah, definitely, they're definitely on board, involved. They message me all the time. When's the next fight? Happy to help and come down and support. So yeah, but I out of everybody, probably my mum's probably one of the biggest supporters of me for sure. But yeah, again, but the only thing she can't do is come to the fights and watch me fight live. She can't do that just yet.
Yeah, that's it, man. I used to tell my mum after, because they just go, I'm just going out or something, just go out and fight and come back and say how to fight. She'd go,
Yeah.
oh, are you okay? Is the other guy okay? Like, who fucking cares about the other guy? Come on.
Yeah, I know. My mum's the same, but she's got anxiety all fight week, man. She has more anxiety than me. That's why I always message her straight after. I said, I'm okay, everything's all good. And then yeah,
Yeah,
she's after that. So
that's it. Man, you mentioned about fighting in different places in Australia. Have you had a chance to compete overseas in anything?
no, I haven't. That's definitely on the agenda. You know what? As an amateur, I fought always in Sydney. I never fought out of New South Wales as an amateur. So I definitely, as a pro, I wanted to take all these fights in the interstate, and I wanted to take them against tough guys from other states. And I'm always looking to go to other guys' backyards and fight, because I think that builds, I guess, that mindset of being comfortable in the uncomfortable. Like I said, I think I was a little bit too comfortable fighting in Sydney all the time as an amateur in front of my home crowd. So that's why now, as a pro, I'm always looking to get interstate fights, going other people's backyards and other people's shows, being the B side, you know what I'm trying to say, and then eventually heading overseas and competing soon. Definitely, that's definitely on the agenda. But as of yet, no, I haven't competed overseas.
Yeah, bro, it's something to definitely look for. Like guys like Dan Hooker and that, when I've talked to them, they talk about, like, that's one of the best things about being a pro combat
Yeah,
athlete, that you actually get to go to these other countries. Someone pays for you to go there,
yeah, man.
and you get
Yeah,
to hang out there and learn the culture and everything, and, meet
yeah.
some cool people, and then, take that as a life experience. So hopefully you can get to do that, man.
Look, 100%, and that's something that we're working towards as well. I remember when I was down with Volk for the first time, I was staying with Trent Girdham at the time, and he was just talking about how from when he was training at Tiger, he fought in Slovakia, he fought in England, he fought in all these different places, he fought in Dubai. That's just like you said, it's just a cool thing, like, hey, yeah, the fighting part is good, but it's kind of like a, you know, a free holiday. You know what I mean? And it's like you said, it's an experience that like not many people get to, I guess, encounter. You know what I mean? Going to go overseas and being in a different culture, and you know everything's paid for. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to down the track is competing overseas. 100%. Can't wait.
It's all about the connections and that, man. So you got to keep an eye for
Yeah.
that, because there's honestly MMA is like everywhere in the world you go almost now, man. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I'm living in China, man. We have fights here, we have fights in Hong Kong, there's fights in the mainland of China. It's like, and they have foreigners coming in that aren't any particular massive skill set or anything. It's just that they want to get some foreigners on the show. They must have the right connections to get over here, and
Yeah.
they get on, man. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they
For
like having
sure.
they like bringing foreigners in to fight the local guys and stuff like that. It's more interesting to people to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure. I heard like especially on like that one FC, they love bringing foreigners in, and they and especially they love their Aussies too. I've been told, they love bringing Aussies in and having Aussies on their show. So I don't know, maybe later down the track that's something to look at. Obviously the goal is UFC, but like I said, man, any type of international show, or I was talking to my manager Reese about he had a bit of connections with UAE Warriors in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, I think they are. So again, later down the track, that's something to look forward to. Like you said, man, it's just it's a mad experience, going to another country and competing. It's fucking great.
That's it, man. Earlier you mentioned about focusing on diet and strength and conditioning, all that stuff. Do you run it on your own, or you've got like particular people that work with you for that, or like do you work with agencies, or it's just within the gym, or how do you do it?
Nah, so with my nutrition, I've always been good with my nutrition, but I work with Geordie, the fight dietitian, one of his guys, Ryan.
I swear every single person, somewhere directly or indirectly, worked with Geordie. It's just crazy. It's like every fucking person I talk to, even if they're from the States almost, it's crazy.
Mate, I'm telling you, he's the man. Like his guys, they're the man. They're like
They've got
literally
onto the
just
niche market, right? Like there's a market that no one else was probably hitting, and now they're there, right? They're in the middle of it.
mate, like I'm telling you now, they're geniuses. Because like I said, there's dietitians, right? But there's dietitians for, I guess, for certain things. Like when I was working with one person who was a dietitian, but they didn't know anything about combat.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like to bring your weight down, but still have the energy levels to compete and go hard is a totally different thing to just to lose weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was certain things in the diet, like the last couple of fights that I've had, that I've made 70 kilos. Like before, when I was doing it by myself, like I used to, because I was so lean, I used to struggle to make the 70-kilo weight limit, like struggle. Now the last couple of times I've been with Geordie, well, he's one of his dietitians, Ryan, and he's got me down to 70 kilos. Like it's like pissed off. You know what I mean? Like I've been having like omelets and yogurts and stuff on fight week, and I'm thinking, fuck, there's no way I would have thought I could have stuff like this. And just what I've been eating during my fight camps, like the amount of the stuff that I could have, I would have never thought I could eat. And it definitely makes a difference with your training. Like I've had way more energy. My fitness has gone through the roof. Yeah, also my recovery, like having the right meals after training, like post training, and sleeping and all that sort of stuff is definitely that always a massive, massive, massive key. And with my strength training, I have a close mate of mine, Anthony Cassis, down at PTA. He's in Beverly Hills. He does all my strength work. So he just basically, with all my weight and strength training, he just basically programs it to not burn me out, but make me, I guess, strong and explosive. So when I'm going to do my sparring sessions, my pad sessions, my rolling, I'm not fatigued, I'm not tired. So he works specifically around that, and he helps me all with that. So everybody's like working together, kind of thing. So you can become the best athlete you can. But definitely nutrition is like the main. I thought I had good nutrition beforehand, but definitely with these guys, man, they're fucking geniuses. I'm telling you.
Could you give an example, bro? So if you're training like twice a day or whatever you do, man, how do you sort of give us an example of what you would be eating like through the day and when, sort of thing?
So, for example, like when I wake up, depending on what day, so I'll give you an example. So, like Wednesday, for example. So Wednesday I have my weights in the morning, and then I have my Shark Tank during the day. So in the morning, I'll have my half a cup of oats. I have a
That's
side of
pre-workout. That's pre-workout, or
yeah, that's pre-workout. So pre-workout, so straight up in the morning, I have my half a cup of oats, um, side bowl of fruit and a coffee, and so I'll go do my weights in the morning. And again, the weight session is more like a short, sharp, explosive sort of session. Then straight after that, I might have a protein shake or some train aid. Then I might have another piece of fruit with a protein bar. Then I'll go do like my Shark Tank rounds during the day at the Lions Den. So you're familiar with what Shark Tanking
yeah.
is.
Is that,
So
do you
I'll
do
go
stand-up Shark Tank or MMA Shark Tank or grappling Shark Tank?
MMA Shark Tank,
Yeah.
yeah, MMA
So
Shark
anyone
Tank.
that's listening, Shark Tank, you mean as in you're staying in and fresh opponents round on round, or time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, we do it every 30 seconds to a minute. A
Yep.
fresh opponent comes in.
Yep.
So I do that. And then, so after that, then straight away after that, I'll have like a protein shake or again, some train aid. Then I'll go home and have a good lunch. I might have, 150 grams of, red meat, a cup of rice, my veggies. And then, I'll go home, rest, recover, have a good sleep. Then I might have another snack before I go to jiu-jitsu at night. So I might, again, another piece of fruit, maybe some crackers or whatever, something like high carb, high energy. Then I'll go do my jiu-jitsu. Then I'll come home again, have another, say maybe like a chicken stir fry or something like that, or maybe just depends. I might even have like a chicken wrap, something with like high carbs, high protein. That way you can. The reasoning behind the high carbs is so I can sleep and recover at night after those big sessions, because it allows me to train for the next day. So that's a Wednesday. And then Tuesday's pretty much. I mean, Thursday, Fridays are pretty much the same, as well as Tuesdays. So that's pretty much the balance.
Yeah, man. That's good. There's been so much work in understanding that you need to fuel yourself. You can't just run on empty in order to lose weight in that, right? So it's still a progressing science, and it, from what everyone's reporting from these days, is that they're doing so much better with it, right?
Of course, because that's what I was doing back as an amateur. I was starving myself, just trying to make the weight, and people were like, "Man, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be doing that." So, I'm eating like 5-6 times a day, and there's some times where like, and I was losing weight, and there was times where like I couldn't even eat any more food because I was full. I was literally like that full, and that like, you know, couldn't put anything else in my body. So I'd skip meals because I was done eating. You know what I mean? And the weight was coming off. It was crazy. So yeah, 100% to fuel your body, and especially combat athletes, what we put ourselves through. You need to have that refueling. That has to be on point. Otherwise, you just can't perform.
Yeah, from the mental performance even and physical performance, but then also it also staves off a bit of injury in that too, right? Like by being well fueled.
Of course. Like I said, you know, having stuff like that, being well fueled also helps with your sleep, also helps with your recovery, and prevents those injuries. And like you said, the mental part that makes you're constantly feeling fresh. Yeah, there's days you're going to be tired. There's days where you're going to be, sore. Like you can't prevent that. That's the sport we're in. But definitely those little 1%ers, they definitely help you maintain those hard training sessions, especially when you go on a back-to-back camps and back-to-back fights, or 6 to 7, 8 to 8 week training camps. You know what I mean? When you're putting your body through so much torture, yeah, those things definitely help and definitely are key factors.
True. And you mentioned about sleeping in the day and that, and rest and that. What do you do for like rest and recovery, man? What's your keys to that?
So yeah, it depends. Depending on what. Usually in the summertime, or when it's hotter, or on sunny days, I'm a big fan of like after a big session, like a meat grinder or a Shark Tank or something like that, or like a lactic circuit. I like to head down to the beach and go for a swim. Just because the salt water, for me, I don't know, recovers my body well. I just like to have a good swim, 20, 30 minutes in the water, relax in the sun a bit. Yeah, then I'll go have something to eat, and then I'll go have like a nice, half an hour, 45-minute sleep. either that or sometimes I'll hit the sauna. When it's usually in the cold in the winters when the weather's not so great, I might hit the sauna or an Epsom salt bath after like hard sessions, and then have a good rest after a good meal. That way, I'm recovered and fueled for the night sessions. So, but I'm a big fan of going to the beach after training. That's probably one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, bro. And your nighttime sleep, how many hours you usually work on?
Look, to be honest with you, I try and get 8. But sometimes I think as a combat athlete, because your brain's so wide and you put yourself through so much training, like I'll try and go to sleep by a certain time to get 8 hours, but you just can't fall asleep because your mind's always like ticking, ticking, ticking. Especially when I know I've got fights coming up, because all I can think of is going over the fight over and over and over and over again. I generally try to get 8 hours, but sometimes I get less than that. But I usually make up for it, like say in the afternoons. I'll make up for that. Like I don't know. Like I said, I don't like to sleep for too long in the afternoons, otherwise I'm drowsy for the night. But usually at night I try and get 8 hours. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's but yeah, as you know yourself, as a combat athlete, sometimes your brain's constantly ticking over when you're trying to get some rest. So, but yeah, generally try to get 8 hours.
Good, man. And you mentioned about ticking over our upcoming fights, man. You put something on your Insta about a fight coming up on October 15th with Beatdown Promotions. Is that right?
Yeah, man. Damian Brown called me up again for October 15th for Beatdown Promotions. Fight a guy called Jaden Beanie
Yep.
from Team Compton. So that's going to be a banger fight, man. I'm excited for that one. That's going to be a cracker. So I was excited. I was
Dom
pretty happy.
Marfan's from that gym, isn't he? Dom Marfan from that gym?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. I was just trying to
Pretty
think.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a mad fight. You know what I mean? It's like I said, I'm excited to go to these promotions and be in enemy territory and accept these challenges where you know what I mean. Where I'm gonna have killer in front of me. So like I all these guys, I wanna step up and face time after time again, because like then when you hit the international scene or the UFC scene, it doesn't get easier. You know what I mean? So you got to take the hard challenges now here, like when you're on home soil. You know what I mean? So it's
100%.
not a
You'll be
shock to
taking
you
all the
when you go.
challenges, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's not a shock to you when you go. When you go, let's say UFC for example, or wherever, it's not a shock. You've been through those hard challenges. And like you said before, man, Aussie combat, we're tough, man. It's not easy here. So I reckon we got some of the best fighters in the world coming through the range. So I reckon if you can get through some of the competition here, you're definitely ready for the international scene, in my opinion, anyway. So that's why I accept these challenges, and yeah, beatdown's gonna be pretty exciting, man. I've also got another one lined up on Super Fight, which is September 17. Hasn't been announced yet, but I'm fighting on that show as well. Got an opponent locked in. So then yeah, I'll be on that, and then I'll back up 4 weeks later, fight on beatdown. So I'm pretty trying to stay as active as I can, man, and trying to get as many fights in. So it's exciting stuff.
That's it, man. Quick turnaround. Cool.
Yeah.
Those ones, eh? Hey, bro, I've just
Yeah.
got 10 quick questions. No need to go too much into detail. Just kind of get to know your questions, and I'll be making some sort of compilation later when I get a few people to answer the same questions.
Easy.
First one, is the life of a prize fighter difficult?
Has its moments. It has its moments. Yeah, it can be, but it's also good to, yeah.
All right, bro. What emotions do you feel on fight day?
Well, happy because I'm rehydrated, I'm refueled, I've got food in my stomach, so I'm happy. But yeah, happy. Also anxious. Do get anxious. I get nervous, but most of all excited. I get super excited on fight day. Yeah, very, very, very excited on fight day.
What's the optimum healthy diet for you, bro?
Optimum healthy diet. Oh, shitload of carbs. Yeah, man. Just yeah, good proteins, good carbs, good fibers. I'm a big fan of natural organic stuff. Me personally, I don't like to eat too much processed foods, even when they say they're healthy. But I generally try to eat as natural as I can, just because it helps me perform better. In my opinion, that's me.
Cool. What's your favorite positive mantra? Like, a statement that you kind of repeat to yourself to, be positive or perform well?
Positive statement. There's I don't really have a statement, but have you heard of that quote, "The man in the arena"?
Yeah, I love that quote, man. It's amazing. It's
I generally read that a lot, and I generally read that to myself over and over again, because that to me, there's a thing in it where it's where it says it's the man. It's not the critics who should criticize. It's the man in the arena that should be the critic that should criticize. And I think it's a good point, especially when you're in there, because people. It's easy for someone to criticize when you lose or you win or you throw a punch or whatever when you're in there, but they don't know what it's like when you're actually in there and you're in that moment, and you know what I mean. And they don't know what you're feeling at that point. Maybe when you get caught in a choke or you get caught in a punch or whatever, they don't know that particular time what you're feeling. So that particular, I guess, section of that statement, that quote, definitely sticks out for me.
Yeah, man, me too. Actually, you read all the critics online about everyone fighting and giving their judgment on it when they've only seen 25 minutes, man. Because you guys building up to 25 minutes. I mean, you do more than that every day for training, and then we're just judging the people on their 25 minutes. It's not an easy life.
100%.
Yeah, true. Agree with that one. Advice for anyone that wants to be a prize fighter?
Don't be afraid, man. Just do it. Don't think about it. Don't don't hesitate, and be prepared to sacrifice a lot. That's one thing I'm going to say. Be prepared to sacrifice a lot. Be prepared to stop going out with your mates. Be prepared to maybe you can't have a burger on the weekends with some of your friends or whatever. Be prepared to I guess have that one day off, not seeing your missus or something like that, because man, being a prize fighter is it's a lifestyle, man. You really got to dedicate everything to it. There's a lot of sacrifices that go into it. I've missed family functions. I've missed certain things with my friends to get to where I'm at. So again, but it is above all else. It's a great journey, and if you're thinking about doing it, 100% put all your eggs in one basket and just run with it, man. That's the best thing I could say.
Cool. What's the worst injury you've received?
Touch wood. I haven't had too many, but I think the worst injury I probably received was my AC joint playing rugby league when I was a kid. That's probably it. Like I said, touch wood. I haven't had any broken bones or torn ligaments so far. So maybe, I don't know, a few cuts from elbows and stuff like that, a few stitches, but like again, touch wood. I've had nothing so far. So yeah.
What's the most wacky martial art you've tried?
Wacky martial art. I don't know. I don't think I've tried. I don't know.
Haven't tried any jiu-jitsu or any I don't know, taekwondo or anything. I don't know.
I did karate as a kid. But yeah, not really anything else. Nah, I've pretty much been straight into MMA. Like I said, I did karate for a couple months because I used to watch a lot of karate movies growing up, and I wanted to jump off walls and kick people in the face. But you obviously you can't do that when you first start out. So probably I'd probably say karate, I guess. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, if you were shipwrecked on an island, all your human needs were taken care of, food, water, shelter, what 2 items would you want to have with you?
My phone and what else? 2 things. I don't know. My phone and a pair of headphones. That's pretty much it. So I can listen to music.
That's a city boy right there. There's no survival in there. He's got his phone. He flies in 30 minutes and he's like, fucked. Anyway.
Yeah, man. It's a city boy hard. Yeah.
If someone road rages you and then they pull over in front of you, 2 dudes jump out of the car, what do you do?
I'll jump out. Which one of you is first? Let's go.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna be scared. Might as well just run him over. Fuck it. Who cares?
Actually, the last guy said, but Justin said that too, or maybe run him over. If you're in a bar fight, what 3 fighters are your ideal backup?
Corey Nelson will be one of them. I don't know if you had a Corey Nelson. Corey Nelson, probably Volk, and Nate Diaz.
Throw the Nate Diaz in there, eh?
100%. Have to.
That's it. All right, man. So finished up with the questions. Last one, just to round up. What are your plans now? You've got 2 fights coming up. What are your plans for the near future after that, and then the long-term future?
So yeah, we got, after these 2 fights, we'll see how my body pulls up after this. Maybe we're looking at December. December's a possibility. But again, see how my body feels, and if not December, we'll probably look at probably early February. Seeing out the year. I'd like to get in there as soon as possible, but like, you know, again, seeing how the body pulls up, and definitely heading on to some bigger promotions after getting a few fights under my belt, and then taking on some more challenging fights, so you can get my name out there, man, start moving up the ranks. That's definitely the plan.
Cool. All right, man. Well, thanks so much for your time. Good to have a chat and meet you, and definitely paying attention to your next couple of fights and your career in the future. So yeah, thanks for your time, mate.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.